Well, hello. It's just me today. Welcome to the Backpack Show. We usually talk about success and insights from unusual places, but it's just me. I'm solo. Look at everybody. So here's Carol. Here's my dad. It's a solo episode today. Carrie is off on a vacation. We had a guest on here before, if you remember, from Pack Up and Go. They do mystery travel, and Carrie and her family are doing some mystery travel. So where will they go? Today's episode is solo. What that means is I'm going to do my best to entertain you with some thoughts, some stories and ideas that I've seen in business. I will probably read you through some of my feedly and talk to you about news trends and things like that. But first, I will do my little intro, and then I'll do some ad-tros, and then we'll get going.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show. And we're here. I think my shot's off a little. There we go. Looks a bit lit, more like me. Oh my gosh, how am I doing? Well, good to see everybody's here. Welcome to the Backpack Show. Like I said, it's a solo episode today. No guests. You know, maybe if someone's camera ready, they could come into the studio. I could give you the StreamYard link. So we could do that. Let's just do this first, though. I just want to get the ads out of the way just so we satisfy our very lovely and kind paying sponsors. Hey, want to make a show just like this one? You can. See brogan.me/StreamYard. You can make a show. You can run it solo. You don't need anybody else. You can push all the buttons your damn self. If you want to do an audio podcast, we are being hosted by Castos.com. A lot of fun. Castos is a new kid on the block, but they're doing really well. They put our show up everywhere. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Android. I don't know, wherever you listen to your podcast, that's where we are. Let's do all the ads really quick, just so I don't have to forget them later. Hey, want a .online domain? You can get one. cbrogan.me/online. Use the code Chris in all caps, and you will get that domain for 99 US centavos. 99 cents. You can do it. I haven't used Google in a whole long time as far as search engines go. I use some of their other products, but I'm sticking it to the man by using presearch.com. Use that pre-search. You can get right into it. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Presearch.com, our friend Kate Colgan and Colin Pape and a whole bunch of other people have something to do with it, so come get it. Mitch Jackson, the streaming lawyer. Oh, I should hang on. He wants me to read the thing because he didn't like my read. So let me give you a read for Mitch Jackson, streaming lawyer. He's while I'm doing that, he's California's #1 trial attorney. Smart guy, interesting guy, bleeding edge of technology kind of a guy. But here's what Mitch wanted me to say. Another sponsor is attorney Mitch Jackson, also known as the streaming lawyer. If you have an online legal business issue or question, reach out to Mitch at streaming.lawyer. Also, if you want his cool Wednesday morning email newsletter where he talks about all these various issues and all that, you can go to mitchjackson.buzz. Streaming.lawyer. That's it. That's my ad reads for the day. Boop. Done. We hit them. So everybody happy to see you here. Hey, Jacob. It's been a minute. Good to see you. And look at that. Real Melon Chan. Oh, hello, Melon Chan. And then everybody else to say hi to each other. Glad to have you all on the show. Welcome to the show. So we're just going to talk about a bunch of things. You're welcome to bring up topics if you want in the chat. That's one of the cool things about being here. Chat away at your leisure. But in the meantime, what I might also do is I might just pull open my Feedly and look at some business information and business links with you. We could talk about that. Hey, Shauna, good to see you today. One thing I said I was going to talk about in the subject line, which I don't remember why I said it, was the future of business, the future of work. So we could definitely talk a little bit about that. For instance, are you being made to go back to the office? Did they change and do an about ship and say, never mind. Looks like there's more COVID on the horizon. Or are you still working from remote? Or are you in between workings? There's my question to you. And look at that. Elizabeth is here. Buenos dias, backpackers, and good morning. So look, it's a whole house. So I'm curious to know where your situation is on your remote work. Jaffe Juice, of course, I think still probably recovering, right, Joseph? And thank you for watching on the tweeters. Good to see you there. Solo episodes are tricky because I could talk about anything and it makes me really happy. But it's up to you, really, if you want to have a conversation with me about anything. But I could talk all day, so don't you worry about that. I'm going to show you something first off for a piece of news. And that is that McDonald's has announced their next collab person. McDonald's next collab person is Saweetie. They're doing that first female meal in the McDonald's famous orders effort. They've had, of course, Travis Scott and BTS and all that. And I don't exactly know what she's eating in that pic, but I know she's gobbing it with some kind of interesting sauce. So good on you, Saweetie. What an interesting, strange promo this has been for McDonald's. But what's fascinating to me is that it's working. Boy, oh boy, are they getting a lot of buzz on that. And they're getting a lot of people who want to rush through the drive-thru to pick up a famous person's McDonald's meal, which, by the way, they almost all drink spray. I found that interesting. Hi, Leo. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the peer-niverse is doing fine for you out there. Shauna says, I'm a writer, so I'm always working remotely and thrilled about it. Hello, Paul. Project Rebuild alive and well. Suze is here. And hello in India. Good to see you today. Thanks for connecting. India. So let's see. It's 10-ish here, judging by where you are. Could be like 8 p.m. or so. Could be almost dinner time or bedtime, depending on where you are. So thanks for joining the show. I think with the McDonald's meals and the McDonald's is doing a lot of things all in a row to really kind of keep their upper hand in the fast food wars. And boy, did they do reasonably well during the apocalypse as well. They got a lot of delivery through things like Grubhub and Uber Eats and all those sorts of things. And that most definitely pushed them ahead. So I've been following them lately, especially because they're doing all kinds of data-driven analytics and customer experience design and all that sort of thing. And I think, when you think of McDonald's, you just think fast and you think cheap and simple or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. And if they invest money in it, you should at least look at it. You should at least think, now that's interesting, because people like McDonald's don't invest money in things like that unless they feel like there's going to be a big win. Like when they put together the McCafe, they spent $100 million and got back $1 billion. So just because they realized, oh my gosh, we can kind of go head to head with Starbucks of all people, they made 10x their expense back just because they caught that. Leslie says, I've been working from home for a couple of days, but we've been in the office all the time. And you're at a school system, right? And the kids are all back in school full, or are they hybrid, or what's the story with the students over there, Leslie? And let's see. I do like their hash browns and their coffee and clean bathrooms on road trips. I've always been very pleased by the cleanliness of a McDonald's. So you and I agree about that. So article in Fast Company. Fast Company has three skills we really need for our hybrid work self. Oh, I always forget that they're going to make me pop this into a full window. So here, give me a second. There we go. Fast Company has been a magazine I've loved since the very late 90s. I once stalked one of their writers there, Heath Rowe, who was like probably their most known writer, their most famous writer. And I stalked him for some amount of time. Now I'm looking because I have his latest book on my bookshelf. We finally became friends over the years when he canceled the restraining orders. So one of the number one things that people are going to need in the hybrid workplace are emotional intelligence. Now, we did a great episode. I never say that the episode's great because of anything I had to do with it, but we did a great episode around the book Connect. And let me see if I can find that episode for you really quick. But if you go to thebackpackshow.online, you can find all of our episodes on thebackpackshow.online/episode. But let me just see if I can find it. Connect. It's Stanford. What's his name? David Bradford. Okay, so we did. So this says that soft skills are important. We did an interview with Dr. David Bradford and Dr. Carol Robin from Stanford, who wrote the book Connect, and that was an incredible book dealing with emotional intelligence, and it is most definitely the book. So if you've heard emotional intelligence, you're like, I don't even know what they mean. Well, what they really mean is read that book, Connect. And it's based on their long time, multi-decade, #1 rated course. I don't remember the real name of the course because the fake name of the course is Touchy Feely, and that's what anybody who's anybody calls that course, Touchy Feely. Leadership and social influence is #2. Leadership is important, they're saying, but also social influence on, convincing people to do what they want. I think this is interesting in this article because what they're kind of saying is, well, because you don't know if people are working, if they're working remotely, this shows a lack of trust to me. So whoever wrote the article, they're kind of betraying a little something about themselves. And then taking initiative from the inside. This one's interesting and important, and I'm going to talk to you about that for a second. When they say taking initiative from the inside, one thing that happens is when you're working remotely, you kind of get into this habit of sort of just doing what's being asked of you, and you forget to sort of pick up projects. However, when you're around the office space, when you're around the work environment, a lot of times you pick up certain projects. You hear something, or you are involved in some, water cooler chat, or someone, mentions that, maybe we know somebody even internally who could do whatever, and they go with it. Well, there's a real opportunity to take initiative. I find that when you're working remotely, you do a lot more reactive work. And so one thing that you might consider doing as it relates to this is you might consider reconsidering or thinking about, the opportunities that you have and what else you can maybe do to serve other people. So there's my thoughts there. Back on McDonald's, my daughter is working at McDonald's and loves it. It's incredible training. McDonald's has some of the best training in the world. You can get really good employees. If you want to have starter employees at a company, get McDonald's alumni. They'll be fine. Leslie, when I asked her about school, says, well, we offered in-person learning 5 days a week with a remote option during the last school year. And this school year as well, or is that just everybody back to school now this school year? I'm not sure how you answered that. My apologies. Airports have a wildlife problem and vice versa. That's just talking about how there's all kinds of critters running onto the runway, which is not helpful, and getting into the fans. The MacBook, Apple's news, the iPad Pro is the most powerful tablet yet, but the Air is still better for students. I have the new MacBook with the M1 chip, and it's a powerhouse. It is really worth the juice. Let's see. Some really interesting things in here. A startup called Hello Divorce has raised $2 million so that couples can say goodbye easier. Divorce is messy, but I guess these people feel like they can make it a better process. Very interesting. This article from The Drum is talking about that the office of the future is going to be creative, collaborative, and flexible. One of the things they point out is that the era of the 9 to 5 is over. For marketers, at least, a new flexible approach to work is taking over, catalyzed by the work of the last 18 months. So this is a big white paper you can get over at thedrum.com, and it's called The Office of the Future. So you can go get that if you want that sort of a thing. Let's see. I'm going to get one more article, and then I'll come back to you in your chat. You should know that the Atari VCS, which is coming any day now, is going to bring back the old game Food Fight. Leslie, who we're chatting with here, Leslie and I used to play video games that her pop had because he was a vending guy. Glad that you picked up a copy of Connect on Audible. It's read by the authors, by the way, and if you're the kind of person who reads an audiobook a little faster, you can jam this one because they talk slow. They're really good professors. Leslie says, so school is a work in progress. The plan is back to school full-time, but cases are ticking back up again, and they're going to see what the CDC says. So I just read today that Twitter has reclosed their 2 main offices because they were having that feeling that, oh my gosh, we have an issue here. Sorry, but the era of the 9 to 5 workday ended when the internet was invented. Well, Dean, I was thinking sort of the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, I haven't worked 9 to 5 and I don't know when. I was up working last night at 11 something. And I got my first text this morning at 6 a.m. And I fell back asleep on the 6 a.m. text after I said, that sounds great, and then passed out. But, I feel like work happens when work happens. And I think that's the way work should happen for the most part. I don't mean we should work 24/7, but I definitely mean that, we should work kind of to fit our mood, our role and all that. I'm curious to know what people are working now. Do you work standard straight set hours? Do you work too many hours? Just drop a comment on that while I'm taking a look for the next article. How to talk to an actual person at your airline. I don't care. Oh, creature. Well, Carrie's not even here, but I'm going to have to actually play this for my own damn self.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Feline invasion. I repeat, we have a feline invasion. Chris, hold very still. Do not turn your head. For the love of Pete, don't turn your head. Oh, the humanity.
Yeah, I fed the creature. The creature has nice water, and the creature has a clean litter box, so I'm not sure what our problem is. But anyone wants a free cat slightly used, you let me know. It's all for you. So Sue says, I work about 7 or 8 a.m. to 2 to 3 p.m., but I think about work a lot more. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, I definitely kind of wander around with thoughts on different things I'm working on or different ideas or different processes and all that sort of a thing. Dean says that people are talking about 4-day work weeks, and Dean just says, I just wish the 24/7 work week would stop. Yeah, it really, it's a real, there's boundaries involved there, obviously, but then there's some companies where that's really the expectation. And if you're not putting it in all the time, then you're not part of the team. Leslie has set hours. Good for you. I don't know. One of the one thing that I have going at this company that I've been doing the work with is that they keep stressing that if you take vacation, then really stay on vacation. Don't bow or anything like that. And for instance, I took 5 days to go see my mom and dad, and they were like, don't show up at meetings. And I was like, okay. I begged for one particular meeting, even though I was away, but I asked for it. But that's one of the things that we're finding, especially in American corporations, by the way, is that companies are having a lot of trouble convincing their employees to take the time that they have to. There's unlimited paid time off kind of organizations. In the US part of the company that I've been helping has an unlimited paid time off. And one of the things that we've come to realize, and I read this in a recent book about Netflix with Reed Hastings, is that people do not take that time off. Even if they have known unlimited time off, they'll take 50% of the time, usually less than 2 weeks for an entire year or something like that. Now, I'm guilty of that as well. I'm not a vacation taker. I'm not good about vacations. I'm not very skilled in how to put them together and make them work really well. But I think that there's a lot of value in taking paid time off, and there's also a lot of value in coming back refreshed. I mean, one of the things my dad just said, which is true and simple, thinking is good. I mean, I had a lot of opportunity to be out at my parents' pool, just kind of bobbing along, me and the chlorine duck, just bobbing around in the water. And I can tell you that I had a lot of thoughts. I had a lot of things come to me that I was like, oh, I've got it. Next time I get back to the office, I'm going to do X. And I don't always get that, just at the office. The other place I get a lot of my thinking done is on airplanes. So I will tell you that one way to get some thinking done, and if you don't want to take the flight, is you get into airplane mode on your device. You shut your Wi-Fi off, you start thinking in one direction, and you just start kind of going, what should I, or you bring a notebook somewhere. I was just going to reach for a notebook, and none are actually in arm's length, which is rare. You bring a notebook somewhere and a pen, and you think in a different way. You think kinesthetically with your hand moving. Kinesthetic learning gives you a whole different connection to your thought processes, right? So for instance, one way that we're going to get better at the future is to use tools from the past and do a lot of writing. Carol said that I've been hearing that unlimited vacations has the opposite effect. Absolutely. It's incredible. And what's required there is that leadership has to demonstrate it by taking lots of vacations themselves. So bosses have to force themselves to take a bunch of vacations before their employees actually do the job. Floating is the best way to think. I like your feelings on that one, Suze. I really do. One thing I've noticed, and I hadn't really paid much attention to this before, but I haven't been in corporate life since 2006. So helping this company is a big I inside of corporate life right now. And one of the things that I keep observing is that a lot of people do look up. They do wonder what the boss is doing. They do wonder what the team's environment is like. And so if you've got like a hard moving boss or something like that, someone's just like rocking, then that group of people tends not to take as many time offs or take as many vacations or whatever. And it's crazy because that means that the entire team's productivity is going to be in jeopardy. The entire team is going to run into a problem where they're not giving their best. So I think it's incumbent on everybody to take their vacations, and it's incumbent on you to be your own personal leader and say, you know what, I'm taking some time off. Guilt is a useless emotion and feeling. Guilt is a control feeling doled out by people who don't have power in any other way. Think about that for a second. Do you know who invented guilt? A lot of it, religion. Religion invented guilt because they couldn't force you to do things the way nobility could. Elizabeth says 100% airplane mode to not get interrupted. Absolutely. Or just have rolling blackouts. Hello, Texas. Carol says that vacation always leads me to my best ideas. My brain goes on overdrive, but it's actually very positive, not stressful. Suze points out we've started a contract with a corporation that just merged with 2 others, and it's fun to be back in corporate world. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know how long I'll enjoy it, but right now I enjoy it. Plus, I'm at kind of the top of the pyramid. I don't know if I would enjoy it if I were back in the middle again. Leslie says, I love vacation time, and floating is definitely the best. Now, I'll just say it because I know you're all thinking it. We mean floating and with a beverage. Unless you're recovering, we mean floating and with a beverage. Deprivation tank. I've never done a deprivation tank. I'm kind of down for the idea. I've just seen a couple of movies where that's where they kill the guy. So I don't, I have this weird extra thing, sort of like my fear of sharks, that they're going to get me once I get inside the deprivation tank. I don't know. I know that's crazy, but that's definitely one of the thoughts I have on the process is that I'll be there. Big data engine that fuels leading, blah, blah, blah. Do you ever read press releases? Oh my gosh, it's amazing some of the words they put in them. It's just like, who do they think they're writing this for? Let's see. Rest in peace, Ron Popeil. Yesterday we lost 2 important people. We lost Dusty Hill from ZZ Top, and we lost Ron Popeil, the incredible, legendary TV marketer. Ron Popeil, rest in peace. Think about that. He had so many inventions. He had so many marketing inventions. He invented, but wait, there's more. I didn't know that. And Dusty Hill, of course, part of the legendary band ZZ Top, Texas's Little Loves. I have to tell you, if you could imagine a band not being the darlings of 1980s MTV, it would be ZZ Top. Billy Gibbons, Dusty, Frank Beard. Oh, my golly. Dean points out that Ron Popeil is better than the ShamWow guy. Oh, my gosh. Popeil has like 166 inventions or something like that. Sue says, no way on that deprivation tank, too claustrophobic. Chip says, I used to take 2 think weeks away a year where I'd go away on my own to clear my head and do a pile of reading and thinking. You should get back to that. Yes, you absolutely should, Chip. You're a thinking thinker, and I think you'd be great for it. Carol says, last time I went to a vacation to a resort, I really enjoyed those 10 a.m. margaritas. And Leslie points out, yes, beverages for sure. And if I'm going to a deprivation tank float in a few weeks, you're always doing things. Carol and the rest of us want to know what that's about. Man, you are like a take action kind of human. That sounds awesome, Chip. There we go. See, we read a lot more comments when it's just one person and no guest because, we have to kind of do that. The giant whip scorpion. Okay, well, we'll pass that article up. Basically, it says they're not scary. They're not bad. Well, they're scary. They're not bad. Chinese billionaire just got sentenced to 18 years in prison for speaking out against his government. Ooh. Children of tech, guess where? No. Okay, no. I will show this one just because it points to something. So Intel has this new crazy gaming machine out, and it's called Beast Canyon. But one of these things I have to tell you is crazy is Intel is now being told, and a lot of companies are now being told, that they can't ship some of their gaming computers or their high-powered computers to certain states. You can't buy This gaming computer that I'm showing on the screen right now, Beast Canyon, you cannot buy this in California, Texas, I think Arizona. I think that's a few of them. And my dad points out it was the movie Altered States is one of the ones that I was thinking about that had the tank. There's another one with some assassins, but Altered States with William Hurt and that deprivation tank, that one really got me. Chip's right there. Reading comments can be dangerous, but Carol says, where would you go, Chip, if you're going to go away to your think weeks? Does the where matter when it's a think week? Like, could you get this done in Schenectady? One of those places that I really like to talk about a lot. So let's see. Read you a couple more. Useful. DoorDash is now not just delivering meals, it's making them. This is a trend that I find fascinating. Has really no particularly large business value for anybody per se, but instead of restaurants, what's the fastest growing food preparation part of business right now are ghost kitchens. Ghost kitchens are where the public is not invited. It's just a delivery device, and the ghost kitchen maybe has 5 to 9 different restaurants built inside of it. And the door delivery people all come there. So Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, all those companies come and pick up from the ghost kitchen, but you can't just walk there and get a table for 2. So that's kind of interesting. All right. So Elizabeth points out that if she's going to want to get a powerful computer, she's going to end up needing to get a P.O. box in Louisiana and some good friends. Carol says maybe not an office setting for the thinking. And walking is a thinking engineering. Walking is a thinking engineering. Yes, I know what you're saying there. Walking is something that generates thinking for sure. Speaking of which, I sure need extra coffee. The U.S., this is going to surprise everybody. The U.S. government's trying to really downplay something, but don't anyone feel weird when we say that federal officials made every effort to downplay a huge COVID-19 outbreak at a migrant children facility earlier this year, worrying that politics would take over. The politics of saving kids' lives. Oh, government. I just watched a show called Years and Years. It's on HBO Max, and it's just a series about kind of where will certain things happen. And it's a British show set in England and all that. But it's clear that they're talking massively about sort of, what happened in the last 4 years in America. And it's clear that they're sort of extrapolating on just where some of these trends are going to take us. I cannot believe that we made it all the way to this half-hour point. This is great. Everyone's been wonderful. Really good interaction. I know some of you have to go and all that sort of thing. But thank you so much for being here for the show for half an hour. I already read through the sponsors, so I got that covered. What else do I got to do? Well, let's see. This?
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
I do need a person of the day, don't I? Let's see. Gonna give it to Suze up in Canada. I think I gave Suze one fairly recently, but when I look at the names, you've all been person of the day. So that's been very lovely. Chip points out that driving is not at all relaxing to him. I understand that. I sold my car. I love that idea, except when we do family road trips, that's magical because Carol's in the riding seat. So, Suze, you're person of the day. Let's see. Time now for what goes in my backpack. You know what? Today I'm going to put my beads. So these are my prayer beads. My mom made these. They're for Buddhists. And basically they're 108. Where am I going? Okay. They're 108 beads with a big pop of bead there. And so you breathe in and you breathe out. And then you grab the second bead. So you grab the bead on the breathe in and you go all the way around 108 beads, just like a rosary, by the way, 108 beads until you get all the way to the other side until you touch that pop-up bead again. And then you're done. You've done your rosary. So that's what goes in my backpack. So I handled that. Lots and lots of coffee in my backpack. I think that's a good answer, Chip. When you talk about road trips, though, we used to take a lot of road trips as kids, and there would be a bunch of us in the car. It'd be my brother and I, my mom and dad, my grandparents, and we'd play little games on the road. My grandmother had this one game. I don't know if it's exactly politically correct, but she'd call it